Greetings, and welcome to the State of the Economy for the months of November and December. Today, we will examine those 2 months and look back through the passage of time to see, with an unbiased eye, the true health of our economy. And I must start off by saying it does not look good at all. Let's start off by taking a look at auto sales in the month of November. In November, auto sales grew to 8.2 million from the prior month of October, where sales were 7.9 million. This is a good sign. However, you also need to remember that auto sales are predicated on people getting auto loans. And right now, the auto industry is being bailed out by the U.S. government along with the banks. If for some reason lending for auto loans should contract, you will see this auto sales number also contract. Let's take a look at the Thanksgiving holiday season. Now, this is a big period for retailers, and it did not go well at all in November. The Thanksgiving shopping weekend was flat. Now, of course, there were people out in droves to purchase the fantastic deals, but that is all that happened. People would go into Best Buy or Target or Walmart, and they would purchase the deal in the flyer, and that was it. They would buy the item, leave the store, go home, wrap it up, and they had just finished their Christmas shopping. That is not at all what retailers were hoping for. They were hoping to lure people into the stores with the deals, and then people would buy other items, thereby boosting their bottom line. Unfortunately, that did not occur. The manufacturing sector for November was also flat. Let's take a moment and look at the December jobs report. Now, if you're not aware of this, when the December jobs report comes out, any revisions to the prior month are also announced. In November, instead of losing 11,000 jobs, we actually gained 4,000. But if you think about it, this makes sense, because there's a lot of temporary hiring for the holidays. The December number, however, is a lot more shocking, because we lost 85,000 jobs, which is very shocking. And I think I explained why in one of my other videos. It's unusual in the United States for people to go, "Merry Christmas, you're fired." Normally we just don't lay off around the holidays. So you can get a picture of just how badly things went during the December period. Now that enough time has passed, we can look back at the consumer credit for November. Now that's the amount of credit available to U.S. consumers to spend. And no surprise here, it contracted by about 17.5 billion, which is a phenomenally large contraction of credit. Of course, I think most of us in the real world expected this, with credit card companies trying to change the rules and, get rid of their bad, risky customers. They've been cutting credit card accounts left and right. Of course, this is not constrained only to credit cards, but also bank loans, auto loans, most other types of loans. It's much harder to get credit now, and will continue to be a lot harder in the future, going forwards, to get credit. In the month of November, GDP was once again revised downwards. If you remember, in the third quarter, GDP was estimated to be 3.5%. Now, most economists figured that the revision for third quarter GDP would be 2.8%, and it was not even that. It was 2.2%. Also, out of that 2.2%, 1.75% was due to government stimulus measures. This is absolutely horrible. GDP is like the pulse of the United States. It shows everything, and for it to be as weak as it is after the amount of money that we have pumped into our economy is a very telling sign. I don't know if the government will be able to prop up GDP again next quarter, but we can certainly hope so, because if GDP continues to go negative, well, I don't know how the economy can stay positive in any meaningful sense. One positive factor around the holiday seasons was that credit card defaults on store-branded accounts hit near record levels during the holiday shopping season. Essentially, what that is average Joe shopper with a credit card looked in the mirror, said to himself, "They're going to lay me off next month. It's the holidays. I might as well go out and do a fantastic holiday shopping for everyone, and then not worry about paying back the credit card." And I think that is the right thing to have done. Because if you're going to lose your job, you might as well expand all of the credit that's been given to you. Because once you're unemployed, no one's going to give you credit. And apparently, most Americans are catching on to this fact, and they're doing so very quickly. So I think we might continue to see retailers suffer as suddenly, as the months pass in the new year, they're not getting those credit card accounts paid off. They'll be calling, they'll be saying, well, you did a huge Christmas shopping at Target. Why haven't you paid on the card? And then the person will say, oh, I lost my job. I'm sorry, I can't pay you. And then click, end of conversation. What happens then? Well, the credit card company sends you nasty messages and letters, and you get to keep all the presents and enjoy them. I call that a very smart, very intelligent trade-off because, when it comes down to it, all we're trying to do now is survive, and survive well. Here's one measure of the holiday season that you're not going to find on Bloomberg, and that's charitable giving. This year, this past holiday season, charitable giving was what we would call mixed. Down some in some areas of charity and then up in others. Overall, I would say it was down compared to years past. There were some disturbing signs noted by charities, such as donors who could not fulfill their pledges, fewer unrestricted gifts, and loyal donors giving smaller amounts than before the recession. Apparently, if you haven't been paying attention, charities are at an all-new level of stress as more and more and more people need help with food or electricity, the basics. And these charities all across our country are being stretched to the limit. The Salvation Army's Red Kettle Drive raised an estimated 11% less than in 2008. And I suspect going forward this year, we will see charitable giving really drop off. If you've been paying attention to the news, there's been a horrible earthquake in Haiti, with many thousands feared dead. I do not expect U.S. citizens to be giving much to this cause right now, as that most people are probably already exhausted from their holiday giving, and maybe even feel a little less willing to give to those who aren't in our own country, when we have so many people here who are already in need. Here's an interesting tidbit that you might have missed around the holiday season. While we were all wining and dining and enjoying time with friends, loved ones, watching television, basically distracted, the government announced that it was going to raise the limit on the amount it would backstop Freddie and Fannie Mac to infinity. Yes, that's right, the new limit for the government backstop on Freddie and Fannie Mac is now infinity. Whatever those two companies lose, the United States government has guaranteed to backstop. Now, I do believe that the total amount that they have on their books is $2 trillion. Right now, the projections are for a total of those two companies to lose $500 billion. I personally think it will probably end up being $1 trillion that they will lose. Either way, it just goes to show you just how desperate the times are. And now the government doesn't have any choice in this matter. They must backstop Freddie and Fannie Mae. Because if they weren't to do that, if they were to say, well, you just go bankrupt, then the entire housing industry would immediately collapse. Now, the government was wise in doing this while everyone was distracted. Because if they did this on a trading day when people were paying attention, there would be a lot of questions asked, such as, well, why are you doing this? This is incredible. You've already backstopped both of them. You've guaranteed them for $200 billion each. Why go to infinity? Well, you know why? Because the economy is going to be a lot worse than anyone can even imagine. I want to thank you for your time today. I hope I've helped to remind you of the facts of just what's going wrong in this country. You see, facts are hard to come by now because the media glosses over everything so quickly that you don't even have time to think about what's happening. The economy is getting worse. And the stock market, well, it's shooting higher because people are not paying attention. People are being consumed by greed. What they don't understand is that there are situations that can occur where you can have $1 million in the bank and it can turn out to be worthless. I want everyone to remember Zimbabwe. Now, I don't know if that'll happen here. It's doubtful. But do I think that people will suffer severe financial losses in the future? Absolutely. Like lemmings, this entire nation is running right over a cliff, and people are not paying attention. I hope to remind those of you to be able to prepare yourselves. You've got to stay focused, and you have to stay grounded. So please, when your taxes come back this year, do not run out and buy luxury goods. You're going to need your tax refunds to prepare yourself. But that is a topic we will deal with another day. Thank you for your time.